Welcome to Memorial Coliseum on the campus of the University of Alabama for the 5th annual Southeastern Conference Gymnastics Championships, featuring 3 of the top 10 ranked teams in the country and 2nd-ranked University of Florida Lady Gators, who will be going for their 4th consecutive team title. I'm David Sturt, and with me is Julie Garrett-Sloan. And Julie, the SEC not only has some top gymnasts in the region, but nationally as well.
Definitely true, Dave. A lot of the teams are ranked in the top 10 in the SEC, and individually, the SEC now houses some of the top individual talent around the nation. Junior Penny Hauschka from the University of Alabama won the SEC title last night in all-around competition, shattering the SEC old record score, compiling a total of 37.70.
And right behind her was Anita Botnin, a freshman from the University of Florida, a Canadian Olympian who had a very strong meet, also broke the old all-around record. And interesting enough, she leads in the very close bars competition entering tonight. Her and Penny will be battling for that title tonight.
It's going to be very interesting because Penny enters the bar competition only 5/100ths of a point behind Anita. They both had very fine performances. Here's Penny ending her bar dismount, a Comanche for a 9.50.
And then following Penny, Anita Botnin, a little different style on the bars. She is the Canadian bars champion, and what she has is a little more explosiveness in her routine.
She does. She has, I believe, a little more difficulty, a little more originality in her routine, and what will be important to watch from Anita tonight is if she can remain consistent, if she can hit those moves as well as she did last night.
Okay, Anita Botnin and Penny Hauschka are just 2 of some nationally ranked gymnasts here at the Memorial Coliseum, and along with the rest of the SEC, they will be challenging for vaulting, beam, bars, and the floor exercise title. We'll be back with the vaulting competition after these brief messages. Defending champion in this event, she scored a 9.40 last night, and she is trying to win a 2nd straight vault title. She'll have to have 2 very good ones tonight. She finished 3rd in this event in 1983. So she has been very consistent as a standout vaulter in the SEC.
To show you how close the vaulting competition is, Elfie is only 0.15 of a point behind the leaders, Kelly McCoy and Terry Eckert. Elfie performs a vault similar to Tammy Smith, a Sukahara in the laid-out position.
Can read that concentration on her face as she prepares.
Good block off the horse. Nice vault. Again, a little bit of a pike. Elfie's having a bit of a problem. It could be because of her height, keeping the laid-out position all the way through the vault. Here's Elfie's 2nd vault. She's going to try to be a little bit quicker into the horse, punch a little bit higher, and stay in that laid-out position throughout the entire afterphase, or 2nd part of the vault. Elfie is a very consistent gymnast, so I look for this 2nd vault to be a very good one. Again, the strong run. Good on flight, better off flight. Good distance, nice vault for Elfie. Although she still has a slight problem with that pike, watch the distance she travels from the horse in doing the afterflight of her vault. She's a good 5 feet away, and the vault was a lot higher. I think her score will be better. Penny does a very unusual vault, the only one in the competition to do it. It's called a quarter onto the horse, quarter off, with a front flip and a tuck position out. It is another blind vault. She can't see where she's landed, so she's literally timing the vault in her head. A strong short run, the quarter in, quarter out. Beautiful job. 2/10, 1 or 2/10 on the landing. Other than that, good vault. Watch the quarter onto the horse. She doesn't make a half. She keeps it at a quarter so she can invert back out and do a front tuck to a nice landing out. They actually do scrounge for tenths in these kind of competitions. Here's Penny's 2nd vault, the quarter in. Nice job. A higher, tighter, better vault. Again, a little bit of problem with the landing. I think a lot of that stems from it being a blind landing.
The next competitor is from the University of Georgia. It's Terry Eckert, a sophomore from State College, Pennsylvania.
And Terry is our only twisting finalist. That was a beautiful vault. It's called a full in, Rudy out, or full in half out. Terry's vault is highly unusual. She's the only twisting vaulter in this competition. And her approach, just watch her approach, is a little bit different. She isn't quite as explosive in the run because she has to be very technically perfect in the twist. Very high on flight. Problem with the off flight, now look at the directional problem. The judges look for her to line up in the middle of the horse. See, Terry's run is a little bit less powerful than the other girls. The full-on, Rudy off, a little bit of a directional problem, but a very difficult vault. It doesn't seem as hard as the others, but it is because of all the twisting involved.
The final vaulter for this evening will be Kelly McCoy from the University of Florida. Kelly is a senior out of Atlanta, Georgia, one of only 2 seniors who made the finals tonight. It is a very difficult sport, gymnastics, to retain your competitive edge through 4 years of college. It's very physically demanding, and Kelly, who had not been in the lineup for the last couple of years on a regular basis, suddenly finds herself in a position to win the SEC vaulting title. She's got a career best of 9.25 before this year, yet she hit 9.55 last night, and she's been hitting 9.5s throughout the season.
This is a vault Kelly's been performing many years. It's a handspring front in a tough position. Beautiful job, nice stick. I have actually seen in her high school years Kelly McCoy hit a 10 on this vault, and her vaults right now look just about that good. Here's her second vault, a handspring front. A little bit of problem on the landing, but one of the highest vaults out on the floor tonight. Kelly has really come back into her own.
Thank God.
That's Kelly McCoy from the University of Florida, the captain of the Lady Gators. Quite happy with her performance tonight.
Assistant Athletic Director of the University of Alabama, Jimmy Carroll, congratulating the top vaulters.
Am I ready? That's Elfie Schlegel. Penny Hauschildt from the University of Alabama, finishing 3rd in the vault competition. She's already got 1 individual title with the all-around title. So she did quite well tonight. 18.775, her combined score.
And again, the top 6 finishers in each event and in the all-around take all SEC title status.
Second place is the University of Georgia's Terry Eckert, who finished with an 18.825. She came into tonight's competition ranked first. She was in a tie with Kelly McCoy of Florida with a 9.55. So Terry moves up 1 spot from last year. She was 3rd in the vaulting as a freshman. She moves up to 2nd.
That's the right direction.
And sort of capping what have been 4 years of tough work, Kelly McCoy, the University of Florida senior, wins the SEC vaulting title. This is a vaulter who had a career best in college of 9.25 coming into this year, and she worked and worked, and now she'll be on top of the award stand for the first time in many years. Kelly McCoy.
It's good to see Kelly back up there again. In her senior year, it's very appropriate.
And here are the final standings in the vaulting competition this evening. Freshman from Longwood, Florida. She's competing for the University of Georgia.
Watch the difference in Julie's routine from some of the others. Julie's a very powerful bar performer. She attacks the apparatus. Working into a back straddle through the low bar. Into a handstand. Slight pause on the handstand. A giant swing. That was a problem. She was supposed to carry through the move, and she didn't quite have enough momentum. She now has 30 seconds to get back up onto the bars, and a lot of the gymnasts take this time to regroup their thoughts to finish with a strong routine.
Once you have some kind of break in your momentum, it's very hard to get things rolling again during this routine, isn't it, Julie?
It is very difficult, especially when you imagine you're the only one on the floor performing at the time. There are people watching you and only you. It's very tough. It's very pressurized. Now regaining her composure for a dismount, a double back flyaway. Very nice dismount. Again, another tough break for Julie Click. I think the pressure is getting to some of these athletes.
The next competitor is Anita Botnin from the University of Florida. Anita is a freshman out of Vancouver, and she was the leader after qualifying with a 9.55 in this event.
What's going to be important for Anita is to remain consistent, to hit every move, and she'll have a pretty easy chance at the title because everyone seems to have been missing. Anita working very well through a moose, handstand, into a free hip, hecht half turn. That's a very difficult move, very original. You won't see very many people doing that. In fact, she's the only one in the competition.
This is a very fine routine.
Very good job for Anita Botnan. Her dismount, a toe-on swap with a half twist. She's one of the only gymnasts to hit tonight, and being the leader, I guess that may wrap things up. Anita's experience, especially in the Olympics, seems to show up right here where some of the other athletes are having trouble hitting their routines. Anita sticks solid, and watch this nice landing. Barely any movement at all in the landing. Nice job. Anita Botnan from Florida is going to be very tough to beat on the floor.
Balance beam after this match. In this event, Kim Hillner, a sophomore from the University of Florida. She's out of Warren Township, New Jersey. Kim scored a 9.30 in the first night of competition, and she has a season best of 9.4 in this event.
She's 35/100ths of a point off the leader, and I'm sure the pressure is on this sophomore to do a good job to try to keep her title on beam this year. Look at this mount. What balance, a double turn on her hands. An unusual little dance acrobatic trick, a headstand on the beam into a half turn.
Originality plays a big part in this event, doesn't it, Julie?
Oh, the judges do look for originality. They see many routines week after week after week, and they like to see a little bit of uniqueness, a little bit of difference, both in dance and in tumbling.
Kim has scored as high as 9.75 in her career, so she is capable of a very big score. And it's interesting, the Florida beam workers usually very strong, and their coach, Ernie Weaver, makes no bones about it. Her favorite event when she was performing was the beam, and so it shows with her gymnasts.
And the beam is where many teams can win or lose meets. So beam is the deciding factor, I would say, basically, in gymnastics. It's the most difficult to perform because you have to take into consideration that these girls are 4 feet in the air, walking on 4 inches and tumbling on 4 inches, and judges are watching their every move. Now Kim sets up for another tumbling sequence. 3 back handsprings into a full twist off. Nice dismount. Very impressive performance for Kim Hillner.
2 good performances for Kim Hillner back-to-back. She had been having problems this season. I'm sure this will help build her confidence because she has not performed 2 consecutive nights up to this level before.
It's good to see that she hits in the Southeastern Conference. Watch this dismount. 3 back handsprings into a nice full twisting back layout off. Only 1/10 or so on the landing. That should be a very high score for Kim. She should look to move up in the standings.
The next beam competitor is Anita Botnan, who already has won the uneven bars title tonight. Anita had a 9.40 on the first night of competition. This routine of hers includes many difficult elements, and she has already scored a 9.80 during the season with this routine.
Already Anita has done some very difficult tumbling moves, and she's only done 1 pass of her beam routine. It's nice to see that gymnasts who have been to the Olympics have not watered down their routines or taken out some of the difficult tricks. A lot of times when the girls reach college age, they'll take out their most difficult tricks, worried that they might not be able to hit them as well. But as you can tell, Anita has not slacked off one bit. A beautiful tumbling combination, a cartwheel through to a back layout walkout. Nice and solid, no problems at all.
And you see the dance aspects. She has won for the last 2 years the Canadian Award for Choreography at the Canadian National Championships on both beam and floor.
She is a different type of gymnast, and now the emphasis is on the strong, powerful gymnast. Here you can see that Anita is very athletic, yet she combines grace into gymnastics, which is nice to see for a change. Unusual dance move. Anita's so strong on the apparatus events on bars and beam, and many times that tells both in team competition and individual competition who's going to come out on top. Heading for her dismount, a round up back handspring into a double pull off. Nice job for Anita. A little bit of problem on the landing, but I doubt that will hurt her too much.
The next competitor is the surprise of the finalists in the beam competition. It's Michelle Goodwin, a freshman from the University of Florida who scored a 9.65 to lead all first night performers in this event. And Michelle has performed only 2 beam routines this year in competition. She performed as an Olympic trials performer for the United States last summer and was 20th in the all-around competition.
Michelle starts out with a very difficult mount, and she hit it very solidly. A handstand half turn onto the beam into 3 back handsprings, which gives her 4/10 bonus points. I call Michelle the coach's gamble that paid off. Last night in the team competition, she stuck the routine, is in first place so far on the beam, and head coach Ernestine Weaver did a good job in picking her.
This event, as I mentioned earlier, Ernestine Weaver feels like beam was her best event, and interestingly enough, all of the past SEC champions in this event have come from Florida, yet they've been different girls. Lynn McDonald won the first 2 titles, then her sister Karen won the following year in '83, Kim Hillner won last year in '84, and now Michelle Goodwin is trying to become another new beam champion from Florida.
That shows a tremendous amount of strength from Florida. Here you see Michelle's flexibility move, another requirement. To be strong on the beam is to be a strong team. All coaches look for strong beam performers. They're rare, they're few and far between, and when you get one, it's a sure pickup for the team.
Now, Michelle scored a 9.65 the first night. She will need a 9.3, and I'm sure she got it with that routine. No problem getting at least a 9.3, and that's what she needed to move ahead into first place with one performer left, and that's Kathy Bilodeau of the University of Alabama.
Let's watch a replay of Michelle's dismount. A cartwheel into a full twisting layout off, a little bit close to the beam with her head, but I don't think they'll take off too much for that. This is Kathy Bilodeau, a freshman from the University of Alabama. Kathy is an explosive beam worker. She's one of the only athletes in this competition who actually attacks the beam.
Oh, and I was just going to say, Kathy had already scored a 9.7 this year, and she needs a 9.75 in this event to knock off Michelle Goodwin, and she won't be able to do that after that fall.
That is a 5/10 deduction, and very tough for Kathy because she was very capable of taking the beam title. Let's watch and see if she can pick the routine back up. As you can tell, she really does attack the beam. She's very aggressive. She doesn't let the beam intimidate her. Nice move in a handstand position. Kathy's difficulty is up to par with Olympic performers. She does a variety of difficult moves, working both backwards and forwards with tumbling. Here's her forward tumbling move, a front tuck. Again, another unfortunate fall for Kathy. I'm afraid that will knock her out of the competition. And I'm sure a disappointment because she was looking to win this.
Extremely aggressive worker, though. What I like about Kathy is after she finishes every one of those moves, you see her jut that jaw out and, you know, I've beaten it again and move on to the next movement.
She is only a freshman. I have a feeling she'll be a threat in this event for 3 years to come. Beautiful dismount. Too bad for Kathy Bilodeau.
Okay, the winners on the balance beam this evening. A very good competition, too. Of the 8 gymnasts who were in it, 6 managed to stay on it. And at that point, that's championship caliber. There was a tie for second place between Anita Botnan of the University of Florida with a score of 18.90 and Julie Eston of the University of Alabama also with 18.90. They duplicated their scores both night, 9.4, 9.5 for Botnan, 9.4, 9.5 for Eston. And so they're getting used to being on this award stand. This is the second time on the award stand this evening for Botnan, who won the bars competition, and now Julie Eston has been up there for also bars.
Shows both the consistency in the judging and the consistency in the athlete's performance. Here's the leader, the winner of the beam competition, and a surprise from the University of Florida, Michelle Goodwin.
And Michelle with a big score of 19.25. She had a 9.65 the first night, 9.60 the second, and that broke Lynn McDonald's SEC beam record set back in 1982 when she scored a 19.0. Interesting, Michelle Goodwin, the 5th different beam champion for the University of Florida in 5 years. They've won the beam title every year, actually 4 different people, but Lynn McDonald did win the title twice.
It's good for Michelle to take an SEC championship after a bit of a rough freshman year.
And here are the list of winners on the balance beam this evening, and we'll be back with the exciting floor exercise competition after these messages. First at last year's NCAA championships in this event, and she is working very hard to retain that title. She's also the defending SEC champion in this event.
Starting her out with her first tumbling pass, a front through to a double back, and it's...
The first night of competition, Anita is the Canadian National Floor Champion, and she has won the Canadian Choreography Award each of the last 2 years. A little trouble there, Julie, on her double back.
She did. She cut it off a little bit. Out of the back handspring, you have to lift very hard with your shoulders. She cut a little bit of that lift off, resulting in the low landing. I really like Anita's floor exercise, though. She shows a lot of personality. She's not afraid to get out there and have a good time. Now Anita's working toward her second tumbling pass. A front, through to a double full. Again, showing that difficult combination tumbling.
Graceful. You can see the dancer coming out. They aren't the herky-jerky moves. They're strictly that graceful, flowing look all the way through the routine.
She is one of the old school, one of the graceful gymnasts. Very few in this competition. Most of them are powerful, athletic, moving to jazz moves. You can tell Anita's had a lot of dance training. Now winding up for that tiresome third pass. Double full, nicely done, no signs of tiredness. Nice job for Anita Botany.
A little trouble on that first pass, the double back, but still a pretty strong routine. If you're getting the feeling that you're seeing a Florida competition here tonight, it's only because Florida is so strong in the floor exercise. Next up is Elfie Schlegel from the University of Florida, who finished second to her teammate Maria Ons last year at the NCAAs, and 2 years ago she was fifth in this event, so she has been an All-America twice already, and she is only a junior.
Elfie's routine has been helped, I believe, by her former teammate Anita Botnan joining the Florida team this year. More of her personality seems to be coming out. Let's watch Elfie perform. An Arabian into a double back. A little bit low on the landing, but that was so difficult, I don't think the judges will mind.
Elfie has had some problems staying in bounds on her double backs this year. Last night, she stayed in bounds on both of them. She stayed in on the first one. Let's see if she can make it on the second one.
In a pike position, very well done. Shows a lot of endurance for Elfie. She has a chance to catch the leader, Maria Ons, being 1/10 behind her after team competition, but it will be very difficult after Maria's fine performance.
Just to show how tough the SEC is in all of these events, Elfie managed only third place last year. As a matter of fact, last year she didn't even place. 2 years ago she was third in this event in the SEC meet, yet she's been in the top 5 nationally each of the last 2 years. So the strength is there coming out of this conference.
And being a Canadian Olympian, you can also tell the strength in the SEC. Now her last tumbling pass, high, tight double back. Elfie's another one of those gymnasts who has not been afraid to keep those difficult moves in her floor routine.
And enjoying herself. Her personality coming out much more in her routine this year, and I think she's enjoying herself more. And her Florida teammates, most of whom have performed in floor exercise already this evening, congratulating her after she comes off the mat. The final competitor in this year's SEC Championship meet is Tammy Smith of the University of Florida, the 5th of 8 of the qualifiers for this event from the University of Florida. Tammy scored a 9.45 the first night of competition. Tammy was 13th at the U.S. Olympic trials last summer.
Let's watch Tammy's tumbling. She's a very powerful freshman, a beautiful pike double back, the best we've seen tonight.
Tammy's 9.45 in the first night of competition was her best score of the year. Prior to that, she had had a 9.4 coming in, so she is peaking right now for this meet. Just a freshman out of Westminster, Maryland.
Coming up on Tammy's second pass. Round off handspring through to a tuck double back. Tammy used to perform 3 double backs in her routine, but believe it or not, the judges said it was almost too much. So now she's opted to have only 2, which is quite a nice option to have.
She actually had those 3 double backs at the beginning of this year, and she had to change her routine after she had already been set on her routine for this season. And you'll check the third pass and see what she's replaced it with.
It's almost nice for people to tell you what you're doing is a little bit too difficult. Let's water it down. Now watch Tammy's third tumbling pass will be a double full. Instead of a double back, she'll twist. That was a little bit in the body. She wasn't quite as tight, but there wasn't much of a problem there. Tammy with a dramatic finish. Tammy Smith, a freshman from the University of Florida. We'll see 3 more years of tough competition out of her.
And you can understand now why Coach Ernestine Weaver feels that the University of Florida has the best set of floor routines in the country. Now the top place winners and the floor exercise, and to show how strong the floor exercise routines have gotten in the past couple of years, the SEC record was 18.80. It was held collectively by Maria Ons of Florida and Patty Rice of Alabama, and the top 4 place winners all bettered that mark. In 3rd place from the University of Florida was Anita Botnan with a score of 18.95.
And Anita is a 1984 Canadian Olympian, so that just shows you there are a lot of strong SEC floor performers here tonight.
And there in 2nd place, Florida teammate Elfie Schlegel, who finished with a 19.30. She finished 2nd at the Nationals last year, and she's 2nd in this meet. And the only person that beat her in this meet was the same one who beat her at Nationals, Maria Ons, her teammate, with a score of 19.35, a score of 9.7 the first night, 9.65 the second.
This is a repeat performance of the NCAA's. Maybe a credit to the judges. That is consistency, and it also shows that Maria's new routine is up to par with her last year's winning performance in the NCAA. Good job for Maria Ons. And a new SEC floor exercise record.
On behalf of the University of Alabama.
And here are the floor exercise place winners for this evening, and we'll be back to wrap things up after these messages.